It was supposed to be the most important day of his life. A single dad, dressed in his best suit, rushed through the morning chaos packing lunch for his little boy, dropping him at school, and praying he wouldn't be late for the interview that could finally change their future. The opportunity was rare, a job that promised stability, a better home, and the chance to give his son the life he deserved. But fate had other plans. On his way, he noticed an older woman stranded on the side of the road, struggling with her car. He hesitated for a moment, torn between helping and making it to his interview on time. His heart knew the answer. He pulled over, rolled up his sleeves, and helped her get back on the road. By the time he finished, the minutes had slipped away, and so had his chance at the interview. Defeated, he walked away thinking he had just sacrificed everything for nothing. But what he didn't know was that the woman he helped wasn't just any stranger. She was a powerful CEO with the ability to change his destiny in ways he never imagined. And what happened next left him speechless. He didn't even wait for a thank you. With his heart heavy, the single dad hurried back toward the bus stop, knowing the interview was already over. In his mind, he kept replaying the sacrifices he had made since his wife left. Every decision, every struggle, was for his little boy. And now, another opportunity had slipped through his fingers. At home that evening, he tried to hide the disappointment behind a tired smile as his son asked how the big day went. He brushed it off, saying things would work out somehow. But deep down, he wondered how much longer he could keep pretending. Bills were piling up. His landlord had already warned him about late rent, and food in the fridge was running low. Meanwhile, the woman he had helped earlier sat quietly in her office later that night, still thinking about him. There was something striking in the way he didn't ask for anything in return, how he didn't even mention he had given up something important to stop for her. She was curious. Who was this man? What had he lost by helping her? The single dad had no idea their paths were about to cross again, in the most unexpected way. The next morning, the single dad forced himself out of bed before sunrise, determined to find another job lead. He sat at the kitchen table with a cup of cheap coffee, scrolling through listings on his old phone. But every position either required experience he didn't have, or offered pay too little to keep the lights on. His son woke up, rubbing his eyes, and asked if they could still go to the park this weekend. He nodded with a smile, though inside, he wasn't sure if he could even afford the bus fare. Across town, the CEO couldn't shake the image of the man who had stopped for her. She instructed her assistant to quietly look into him, sensing there was more to his story. At the same time, her company was facing its own crisis. New competitors were threatening her position, and her board was pressuring her to find leaders who understood resilience and loyalty, not just profits. Meanwhile, the single dad's landlord knocked at his door, warning that he had only a few days left before eviction. Fear tightened in his chest as he looked at his son playing with toy cars on the floor. The walls felt like they were closing in, yet he still didn't know that the woman he helped held the key to everything about to change. The pressure mounted with every passing day. The single dad searched endlessly for work, walking into offices, leaving resumes, and facing rejection after rejection. Each will call you felt like another door slammed shut. At night, he stared at the ceiling, wondering how much longer he could protect his son from the truth. The boy's laughter was his only strength, but the weight of unpaid bills and the looming threat of eviction left him gasping for hope. On the other side of the city, the CEO reviewed the file her assistant had put together. She now knew his name, his struggles, even the interview he had missed to help her. It was rare to see someone risk everything for a stranger, and it lingered in her mind. But before she could reach out, her company crisis deepened. Rivals were circling, and the board demanded bold decisions. She needed someone genuine, someone who understood sacrifice, not just corporate games. That same week, the single dad received a final notice taped to his door. Desperation clawed at him, and he wondered if he had made the wrong choice, helping that woman. He had no idea that his lowest moment was about to collide with an opportunity bigger than anything he had ever dreamed of, just when he thought things couldn't get worse. The single dad received a call from his son's school. His little boy had been struggling silently, keeping his worries bottled up. The teacher explained that the child had broken down in class, admitting he was scared they would lose their home. Hearing this shattered him. He had promised to shield his son from the harshness of life, yet now the cracks were showing. That night, he sat quietly by his son's bedside, watching him sleep, and vowed he would find a way, no matter the cost. At the same time, the CEO faced a devastating revelation. A trusted executive inside her company had been secretly leaking information to competitors, threatening not only her leadership but also the future of the business itself. The betrayal shook her, forcing her to look for allies beyond her inner circle, and then her thoughts returned to the man who had helped her without expecting a thing in return. She began to wonder if his honesty and determination were exactly what her company needed. But before she could reach out, the single dad was handed a notice from his landlord, an eviction date stamped in bold red letters. Time was running out, and his world was hanging by a thread. On the morning of the eviction, the single dad packed a small bag with his son's clothes and toys, unsure where they would go next. His hands trembled as he locked the door, feeling as if every dream he had fought for was slipping away. Just as he stepped outside, a sleek black car pulled up in front of the building. The door opened, and to his shock, the same woman he had helped on the roadside stepped out, this time dressed in power and authority. She introduced herself properly and explained she was the CEO of one of the city's biggest companies. His heart raced as she told him she knew about the interview he had missed, and how his kindness had left a mark on her. She offered him not just a job, but a leadership role where his resilience and values were exactly what her company needed. It felt unreal, like the universe had finally rewarded him for choosing compassion over ambition. But just as relief washed over him, she added one more twist. The executive who betrayed her company was someone she once trusted like family, and she needed him by her side to help rebuild from within. His life had changed forever, but the real test of his strength was only beginning, with the weight of the eviction still heavy on his shoulders. The single dad listened as the CEO spoke with a sincerity that silenced his doubts. She wasn't offering charity, she was offering a chance to prove himself, not only for his son, but also for her company. For the first time in years, he felt hope replace fear. Accepting the role, he realized that the very act of stopping to help a stranger had led him to this moment. In the weeks that followed, he threw himself into the new job. His dedication and honesty quickly earned respect, and the CEO found in him the dependable ally she had been searching for. Together, they uncovered the betrayal within the company and began to rebuild trust with their team. At home, his son noticed the change. The stress that once clouded their small apartment was replaced by laughter, warm meals, and evenings, where the future no longer felt uncertain. Looking back, he understood the lesson clearly. Sometimes the detours in life, the sacrifices that seem like setbacks, are what lead us exactly where we're meant to be. His story was no longer one of loss, but of resilience, kindness, and unexpected second chances.